Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hungry Bleek Show. I am, as always, Antonio Pomares. I don't know why I say as always, as if 1 week I'm going to come up and say I have a different name or an alias. It doesn't even make any sense. Anyway, so I hope you're all having a great week. You're warm, didn't have so much trouble from snow and everything like that. But hopefully this will warm you up. We have a very special episode today. And this is the Hungry Bleak along with Black Sci-Fi TV working in conjunction on this episode. I don't even know where to begin with this introduction, so I'm not going to. It's one of the most prolific, one of the most iconic, one of the most sought after comics out there. And 30 years later, you can still hear echoes of the title Tribe. Yes. We all know, but if you don't know, we're going to introduce you, or they're going to allow them to reintroduce themselves. Very excited to have Todd Johnson and Larry Stroman on today's show. Gentlemen, thank you so very much for being here. How are you doing today?
Woo, all right. That was a good intro, man. I like that.
There's nothing that I can really say.
The actual name of the book is Johnson and Stroman's Tribe.
Johnson and Stroman's Tribe. You know what? We're going to scratch this. We're going to do it all. We're going to burn everything down. We're going to start all from scratch. Okay, first off, for those who may not know about it, just because of how long it's been since the comic has been around, can you give us a brief description, if you can? I know it's kind of vague, but a little bit of a description of Tribe. Todd.
Tribe came out in 1993 originally. It's a black superhero team comprised of over 200 different characters. Obviously, we hadn't gotten around to introducing but about 6 or 7 of them, but it's a black superhero team. The whole story is ongoing 30 years later.
That's awesome. Now, this was before its time. Truthfully, Tribe was before its time, and it still holds the record, correct, of being the what is the biggest or highest sold comic book, African American comic by African American creators.
That is correct. That is true. The first issue sold over 1 million copies, and the whole series did close to 2 million copies. A series of 4.
That's mind-boggling to me. I mean, not that it can happen, but the fact that it's just that powerful. Larry, when you first came, when the comic was first developed, did you think you had something that special, like that lightning in a bottle when you created it?
One of the mistakes that I think people make when they're creating anything is if you don't create for the purpose of making something into the greatest that it could ever be, then you end up shortchanging yourself. So what we did was we started off by saying, well, what do we want to do? We want to make the best-selling black creator-owned comic in history. Ha, 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 we're laughing about it. Then we spend the next 8 months actually making that happen, which was very grueling. I kind of went off somewhere else. What was the question again?
No, you know what? That was the perfect, gold standard answer. That was perfect. That encompasses everything right there, because you had a goal and you probably you exceeded it. You crushed it. You burned it. Yeah, that's awesome.
But the thing is, if you don't set out to do that, it's just never going to happen. I mean, things that become great or popular don't happen by people who are shy and quiet. You have to make some kind of a noise in order for people to pay attention, because there's so many things out there for people to pay attention to.
And there's so much there that's already before you. There's things that are already out there. So it's not a thing that you come into anything and they say, Antonio, just go over there and stand in that line. So you get over there and you look at that line, there's already 25 people standing in that line, and there's only 10 slots. So what are you going to do to circumvent your situation right then? Are you going to run to the front? Are you going to take cuts? Are you going to buy awesome people? Whatever you do, that's what you have to figure out, you know?
Yeah, I definitely understand that. And that makes total sense that you have to have that bar set for yourself. And you even want to go above and beyond that bar that you set. So, like I said, Tribe was before its time. So 30 years later, why are you bringing it back now?
Why do you say that it was before its time?
Well, looking at all the comics that we have now and how many of the creatives that constantly will say randomly out of nowhere, Tribe, it will be in statuses, shares, what have you, that they've reread it. They've read it 20, 30 times. So if Tribe
came
out now,
read it that many times.
I did.
I probably read it like twice, maybe.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
But that's a testament to it, that it influenced so many of the creatives that we have now, and everyone who's got their comics out now, because we have a plethora of Black comics now, with creators that are doing smashingly wonderfully beautiful work. But they will say, "Oh, Tribe, waiting for Tribe. Yeah, I love the Tribe." So I want to say it's that for a lot of people, it's that benchmark of I want to be there. That's their bar, is Tribe. And I think that, again, it was ahead because it was 1993. A lot of us, we didn't have access to the internet at that time, so we couldn't really look up things. There were no digital comics. Excuse me. There wasn't anything like that. So I think if Tribe had originally came out now, it would definitely be just knocking everything out as it did back then, but even more so now because there are so many more avenues. There's social media, YouTube. Everybody's got some type of way to advertise or put the comic out, whether, like I said, whether it's digital, whether it's print, if you decide to put it on Amazon, or if you just decided to do it straight from your own website. It was like, what does they say in Doctor Who? It's a fixed point in time. No matter what you change in the universe, that's one of those fixed points in time. And that's what Tribe is.
Well, that's one of the things that you asked was why now?
Yes.
And part of the any type of milestone, looking at a 30-year mark, we started looking at it as a legacy situation. Now, obviously, we're not totally absent of the fact that these conversations that you mentioned have been going on, that people say, what about this? What about that? Tribe this, Tribe that. But it's all from the past. So for us, it's been a long time. So we look at the legacy of Tribe, and we want to come forward now into the new generation, and try to connect the new comic buyers and the new comic enthusiasts with our old fans, and see if we can still recreate the magic in the same way. We don't want to necessarily, you see all these sites now talking about obscure and forgotten characters and stuff like that, and sometimes you see your own book float on there, and you're like, wait a second now, I don't want to be obscure and forgotten. So the legacy of it is, we have a 30-year history in this business with a title and with a brand, and it's just time for a comeback. It's just time for revival, reunion, remix, whatever you want, whatever you want to put on it. We're going to return it. So here we are.
Now, how long has this been in the make? Like when did you have the thought of going, you know what, I think we should, bring this back now? When did this happen?
For Todd, it's been 30 years. For me, it was like, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it's like he said, you go off and do different things.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we've had conversations, and that conversation sometimes lasts 5 minutes, sometimes it lasts an hour, but sometimes it's just like, hey, let's bring back Tribe. And it's like, hey, what'd you eat yesterday? It could be just in a passing thing because we were all just doing our own thing. The
thing is, almost everything you do is whatever that moment is. So if you're talking about doing something that's going to take place 6 months from now, a year from now, whatever, it's kind of there. But for the most part, it's just the everyday stuff. I mean, if you have kids, if you have a pet, if you have other family members, crazy girlfriend, crazy wife. I've had all of those. And it occupies your mind, your everyday thing. So you say, maybe next week I'll draw a couple of those pages, or maybe, I might start something a week from now, and then other things in life kind of get in the way. And the next thing you know, a week's gone by, a month's gone by, a year has gone by, 30 years have gone by. And you're like, man, yes, I had no idea that much time went by.
And then you got to remember, Antonio, you have to multiply that by 2. Because when you have 2 creators, it doesn't matter where I'm at in the process if Larry's not in the process. And it doesn't matter where Larry was in the process if I'm not in the process. So it's like, 2 people have to come together and brush off cobwebs and rust and spider. It's like when. So here we are. It's not a huge explanation of what happened over the 30 years, but just this is the time now, and it's hitting at the 30, which is just a good point.
It definitely is. And when everything started coming announced, everyone's ears perked up. I mean, it was like that, and I was like, everybody who kept talking,
what
this is your time.
The biggest thing for us is, after so many years, that people even remember it. So you say, okay, well, people remembering this for all this time, so I can't just do whatever I want. I have to do something that has something to do with what they remember, and then branch that off into doing other things. I mean, I could start off the book, everybody, new characters, new costumes, whatever. Or I could start it off with the 200 characters in my universe. But that's not people's memory of something. People's memory is whatever the last thing was that they saw. So you have to start off at that point, which is what we're doing, and then we're expanding it from that.
And that's the thing. It's your brand, it's our brand, but you're still kind of like a caretaker of the legacy as well. Because anybody that supported it and bought it and enjoyed it and has kept even keep the thing alive, you owe it to them too. It's not just yours. It's just like he said, these are new costumes, new characters. Who cares what you enjoy? Because that's not going to be the trial you're looking to see.
The other thing too is when so much time has gone by and you realize whatever it was you was interested in wanting to do 30 years ago is not the same thing that you're thinking about today. So you're like, how do I take what was done so long ago and still make it relevant today? But I think that one of the advantages that we had is that, in all this time, we haven't done like 300 tribe books. So to a lot of people, it's still just a new thing. But for the old time people, which, been keeping up with it all this time, asking us over and over and over again when we're going to do it again, you got to give them something, because I think sometimes people just kind of forget. Like, I think that's the whole, people are making the movies now. They forget the people who basically made that character what it was in the first place. And that's what we don't want to do.
One thing that gets forgotten too, Antonio, is like we talk about the legacy and stuff, but part of having a fan base, however small or however large that is, it's actually an honor not to be forgotten. It's actually an honor that we turn on Facebook or Instagram and somebody's talking about whatever happened to Tribe or bring back Tribe. You think what you do is very important, but to see it be important to other people, man, that's a big thing that people forget. Like the honor of being somebody's, part of anybody's creative process or dream or fantasy or something like of something that's good, So we enjoy the legacy of Tribe, and we want to honor that too in our next output.
One of my all-time favorite things was I was at a show a few years ago, and the guy comes up to me, and he has this kid with him, and the kid standing in front of him, he has his arms on the kid's shoulders, and he says, "Mr. Stroman," he says, "I met you many years ago. My mother brought me to my very first convention. You were one of the first artist that I spoke to, and I got the book Tribe and everything, and he says he was like 8 years old or something like that. And he says, now I want to introduce you to my son, who's 8 years old.
Yeah.
Who he's introducing to comics now. So you realize whatever it was in your head of what you were doing, whatever that book was you were working on, you now have to think you're now dealing with another group of people.
Yep.
And how do you now deal with them with all the stuff that they have access to every single day, 24 hours a day?
So it's
we used to have to search out stuff back in the day, but now you just pick up your phone and you have access to everything on the planet.
And you don't know who you've inspired over the broader sense, whether it be by your art, your writing, the whole creative process, your marketing, whatever. So you talk about all the advent of all the new creators that are out there doing something. Maybe some of them were inspired by Tribe. Maybe some of them, we don't know. But it's fascinating, because we came up at a time with no cell phones, no internet, no social media. So this is it's a new thing for us as well to be back out in this, where that can be a good thing, obviously, because you can get the word out that the world is flat type of thing. But there's also some negatives that can come from that because there is so much harsher criticism about everything now. Everybody's a reporter. Everybody's got a channel. Everybody's like, so I've noticed that how people digest the creative process of other people is sometimes brutal now. It's an instant. As soon as your first page is announced, they're like, look at that head. It's crooked. And look at that color. It's terrible. No one had that back in the 90s. You advertised the book and somebody didn't see the whole book till 3 months later when they were buying it at their comic shop and stuff. And they certainly couldn't then pick up the phone and talk to 1,000 people. You are on a social media channel where you are podcasting right now that can go anywhere in the world. And you can give your opinion, which will affect everybody that's part of your podcast in seconds. So that's what you're dealing with now. You're dealing with the instant gratification or the instant disappointment of the creative process.
Well, that's one of the things I take that very seriously. When I do review something or if I talk about something, I always look at it unbiased because I have to, because I go, this person may like it, this person may not like, what have you. But I just want to go, look, this is what I thought would like, what I didn't like. I'll try to be constructive because it's very important that you speak about that. And also because someone was putting their blood, sweat, and tears, sometimes literally, on that page.
Yeah.
And it's very, and from what I've seen, creatives, artists in general, sometimes can have anxiety about the slightest thing. So you have to take that into account and just be as unbiased and straightforward, but be constructive with it, not just be spewing the negativity of it, which unfortunately happens now.
It used to be very clear at one time that most of the people who were critics were just critics. They might have wanted to draw, they might have wanted to write something. Now you have people who actually have published stuff that are critics. You look at their stuff and it's like, well, it's not really my thing to put somebody down for what they're attempting to do, but yet they have no problem with doing that to me. So, sometimes it's just stuff you got to deal with.
Yeah, I try not to even truthfully think about that because it's, at the end of the day, I want you to enjoy what I enjoy. If you don't, that's cool. But hey, this is a book that I like. This is a movie or someplace I like to eat that I enjoyed. I hope you enjoy it too.
That's true.
And that's fine. Yeah, it's fine. So
you don't become a food critic to go out there and find bad food to eat and bash. You really want to enjoy something and share your enjoyment.
Exactly. Like that's the whole point. So is this going to be a continuation? Is this a revamping, reboot of the series?
It's going to be both. We are going to be putting out new books with new direction, new stories, new everything, but we're also going to do a look back on the 4 issues that did come out. And while most people do when they do a trade or anything, they do like a reprint, we're doing what we're actually calling like a remix, like a revamp. It will be different. It'll be tightened up. the 4 issues that came out before were all done by different letterers and different colorists, so it didn't have a uniform look. That's all going to be tightened up across the board. Stroman is adding new artwork, new story direction. So when you read the old 4, it will read differently. You'll be very familiar with it, but there will be slight changes that will, hopefully will be pleasant.
Okay, that's great, because I had issue 1. I was searching for it feverishly today, and I was like, okay, I think I know where it's at, and I don't know that person anymore, so that's fine. I hope you enjoy it. Not even going to be mad if I'm just like, okay,
just go to Salvation Army. They probably got a couple of them there.
I figured, well, you know what, they've got great taste, so I'm just gonna, call it a mulligan, what have you.
Well, that's the funniest thing about coming back too after 30 years. You sell all these comics; they're all floating around out there. Mm-hmm. We have been slowly buying every time we see, you see things about like dollar bins and 50-cent comics and stuff like that. Yeah. I've been buying up Tribe for the last 20 years. Every time I see some cheap Tribe somewhere, I buy all of them. So we're gonna be reselling even the small Tribes. So if you need Tribe, hit me up. I'll send you some.
Yeah, I might have to hit you up later on. Is there any chance of the original issues being redistributed digitally by chance?
Yes, we do plan on doing PDFs of everything, so okay. We could do digital versions as well.
Oh, cool. I also realized too, when I was looking at some of your older stuff, every once in a while you wear like a T-shirt.
Yes.
Had something on it.
Yes.
There's this one sweatshirt that's really nice. It's black.
Mm-hmm.
And has this gold logo on the front of it like this, and it says Johnson and Stroman's Tribe on it. Speak to this dude. He'll
I'll hook you up.
I love the comic stuff, but I also love being able to be like a billboard for it, whether it's a mug, whether it's a T-shirt. I love that. I love wearing that. It feels great to just be out there, and even like sometimes, if I'm on the train, you can't see me what I'm reading, but if I'm walking around with a T-shirt and I'm walking around, say like at New York Comic Con or I'm in a comic book shop, they go, oh, he likes, Excellence. He likes Tribe. He likes, it's not like whatever the series is. So I love doing that. That just, it just feels good. And plus I just love T-shirts.
Do you go to a lot of shows?
What's that?
Do you go to a lot of shows?
I used to go to more shows. Life changed, as being like a caregiver now and just work and such like that. But I do enjoy going to a show, like if I can, or going into a comic book shop and just wearing the T-shirt just randomly while I'm looking for whatever comics that I'm looking for that week.
Well, you're talking to the right guys, because we're gonna come like P.T. Barnum in the circus, man.
So can't remember last time I heard P.T. Barnum's name. What was that, sir?
You go to comic stores on a regular basis?
Yeah, as much as I can.
A lot of people don't do that anymore, and I don't think it has anything to do with whether they want to read comics a lot or not. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times it has to do with people who are working in those stores. Some of those stores are just not the friendliest people.
I'll be honest with you. I have found that stores are much better than they used to be, and we may have two different experiences from where we go, and also the fact that I'm not a trader. I'm in New Jersey. Okay. So I go between New Jersey and in New York, and the stores that I go to those stores in particular because I know the people are really nice. They're more than willing to help out. If someone new is in the store and they're like, oh, I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something for myself or for a loved one. They're like, oh, well, what do they like? This might be cool. This might be cool.
Now, when you say New York, are you talking about Manhattan or are you talking about other parts of New York?
Manhattan, Brooklyn. One of my favorite shops is Anyone Comics in Brooklyn. Uh-huh. Great shop. They also have a sibling store, which is Everyone Comics, which is in Queens. Great stores. Go in there. Staff is always great, always wonderful. I go in there to go, oh, hey, how are you? They already know who I am. I'm like, oh, great. They know I'm going to look around. If there's something that they think I might like, they're more than willing to go, oh, did you check this out? What have you? Here in Jersey, I have a store that's maybe about 10 minutes from me. Always great. The Comic Crypt, I go in and go, oh, hey, this came in, what have you?
I think I've been there before.
Yeah. So, I mean, from my experience anyway, stores are better than what they used to be years ago. It used to be literally like dark, dank. You go in there, they look at you accusingly. They would be like, just, oh, that's what you're getting. They would have that mentality
while they're watching TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, mad that you interrupted them.
Yeah, but nowadays, like when I walk in, somebody's actually reading a comic at the counter, or they're looking through like, something new, or the other previews. They're looking to see what's there. Like they're more involved with it. They're more interested, and they're actual fans, like not gatekeepers, but they're actual fans, and they want you to read good stuff too that you're going to enjoy and like, right. Which makes total sense.
Well, that sounds like a pleasant change, and our historical model might be that we, because we're not currently going to shops all the time, we, things could have changed, or obviously they have changed.
It's much better now. Like I said, I would love to go across the country and go to different shops and, what have you. That probably something that will happen later on in life, but that's just something that I would love. But I would love to, the idea of walking into a comic shop and seeing new Tribe on the wall would be so exciting to me. Now, are you going to be doing it outright, or are you going to be doing like crowdfunding, Kickstarters? How are you going to be doing this?
We are in the process of making that final decision this week, to be honest. We haven't explored, we've talked to and explored different options as far as what publisher to go to, or publish yourself, or to self-fund, or investors, or Kickstarter. So, it's all just some decisions to make. We came out the gate with the decision that we made, since it's been so long, to just be in the same headspace at the same time, that we were going to write stories and do artwork first. Get a bunch of stuff done, before we start pulling the trigger on all the other stuff. Because sometimes you could put the cart before the horse, and you've made all these deals and made all these promises, and you say, let's do it in next year. Let's wait another 5 years or whatever. So this time, product first, business next. We're going to get the work product done, so we have something to say. Look, the first issue's done, and now we're in the second issue, or whatever. It's just that's just the process we chose. It's not a good or bad how anybody else does it. We just decided to show ourselves first.
Okay, and that makes sense. Now, Larry, your art is. I love it's just, it's very trademark, and I love it. You're one of the reasons why I got a book called The Incidentals.
I almost forgot about that book.
I did not, sir. I think I have the first 7 issues, perhaps. But you were one of the reasons. I was already a Catalyst Prime fan, but you were one of the reasons why I went and got Incidentals, because I enjoyed your work so much. And
I had such high hopes. I had such high hopes for that, and I was really, really trying to do a good job. And it was like one of the worst like editors I've ever dealt with in my life. And I really wanted to quit it at a certain point, but I figured I'd push it so I would get at least a couple other issues done. But it's something that I wish could have gone better. But that's what happens sometimes. Sometimes your work and relationships with people aren't always the best.
That's true. Well, from a fan, I enjoyed it. Thank you very much. It was just one of my favorites, truthfully. I was at the time I was going through all the Catalyst Prime books, and I saw the team book, and I saw the art, and I said, yeah, this is like a no-brainer. I was already going to get it, but now I'm going to grab even more of them, just because I enjoy your art that much. It feels, it just has like a nice warm spot for me. Like certain artists that I look at, and
how many issues was it? Because I don't remember.
Well, I think personally, I bought, I want to say 7, 8 issues.
No, I didn't do that many issues.
You did.
It's probably more like 4.
I want to say 4 or 5. 4 or 5, maybe I want to say
4 or 5. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just enjoyed that. You're one of those artists that it just feels good to see your art, and I really enjoy that. So thank you very much for that. I truly appreciate that. Real quick, before we go, what's something that we can don't give anything away, but what's something that we can look forward to this new Tribe coming out?
One of our biggest complaints as comic fans, comic nerds, is that in the medium of superheroes, these days it doesn't seem to be too much action going on in comic books. And to me, that should be the predominant thing that superhero books are about. So we kind of want to go back to how we felt about comics that we read when we were young. They had a lot of action in it, maybe a few pages here and there talking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm looking forward to.
Okay. What about you, Todd?
I guess I'll be writing action. See, our creative process is very unusual. Sometimes, I'll send Larry some stories and he'll draw some pages, and sometimes I'll just get random pages and he'll say, put that in there. So our creative process is kind of give and go, give and go, give and go, give and go. So what we're looking forward to is finishing some of the stories that were kind of ongoing with the characters that people like, whether it be Rosalind or Hannibal or Shift. But then we've always looked forward to adding the layers of characters that we decided in the beginning. So to expand the book all in different directions. And, it's like you're always, it's a work in progress. We're looking for the excitement to be able to almost collaborate with the people that read your book, because that's what happens. And that's how we've always made this, that the fans are just as much a part of it as we are. We really do go by with people saying, I like this, or I didn't like this, or like the way that character looks, or I like that costume. And we kind of expand from there. So this is it's a superhero gumbo. There's a lot of chefs in the kitchen, basically.
Well, I love the sound of everything. You're going to be serving the new readers, but you're going to be definitely giving the old readers something to come back for. That, not that they weren't already going to come back to begin with, and giving us these great new stories that we're going to be excited about, and possibly a hoodie with a gold insert. I mean, we'll talk about that later. We can talk about that later. I'm just saying. We'll talk about it later.
We want you all to come back. Everybody. We want you all by.
Everybody's going to be coming back. You're going to be getting new readers as well. I'm excited about this. Everyone else is excited about this. We've missed you. We're so glad that you're going to be coming back to Tribe. Well, actually, you never really left from the sounds of it. It's just been kind of in the ether there. But now that it's fully formed and coming back, we're so thankful. We're so happy. This is big news. Thank you. Thank you both. Todd, Larry, thank you.
We've been creating in the slow motion universe. So time hasn't gone past the same way for us. So this is fresh.
Well, thank you very much today. Honored to speak to both of you, truly.
Thank you, Antonio.
Thank you so very much.
And even allowing us to be part of your platform. It's an honor.
I was truly happy that you even contacted us. I appreciate it so very much. So, folks, stay tuned for all the news about Tribe and what's going to be coming up in the future. It's going to be a very great time. And thank you very much for Black Sci-Fi TV for allowing me to speak to these two gentlemen and having this joint venture. For more of these great conversations and interviews, go to Black Sci-Fi TV or come to the Hungry Bleek Show, and we're going to help you out. Everyone, thank you so very much. You have a very good day. Enjoy the rest of it. Be safe out there, okay? I'll see you around.
Thank you, Black Sci-Fi. Thank you, Hungry Bleek.
Thank you, sir.